right, hello everyone. Welcome to today's first Lunch and Learn. Take a look inside the APRO community. So today we're just going to be going over a little bit about our new APRO community and the ways that you can utilize it and how to set up your settings and all of those good things. So go ahead and get started. My name is Amberly Maya. I am the Director of Marketing and Communications for APRO. I'll be presenting today, and then also a copy of today's presentation will be available on our website, as well as emailed to you. So getting started with the APRO community, we're going to be going over why our community exists, how you can use it, how you can set up all of your notification settings, and the easiest ways to get started in getting value from it right away. You will be able to see also the desktop version as well as mobile version. So what is the APRO community? This is a place where we can do a lot of good things. So we can ask questions, we can get answers. It's a good spot to learn from your peers and their experiences. You can share ideas and resources. You can connect with peers and expand your network and grow personally and professionally. So one thing to think about is this is a place that it's a year-round networking event. So you can connect each and every day as things happen, get questions on the fly. Get answers. So today we're going to be doing a live demo. So this is just a little bit about what we're going to go over. I'm going to show you how to join the community if you haven't already, how to update your profile, manage your email notifications so you get notified in the cadence that you would like to, how to find discussions, how to search through the ones that are already there, how to create your own posts, reply and engage, finding group members, and starting conversations, one-to-one private conversations. So I'm going to switch over to live demo mode. So first thing, I'm starting on our website, which is just rtohq.org. There is a new button here up at the top that says APRO Community. You can either get here from clicking on that, or you can go directly to the site. If you want to bookmark it, it's community.rtohq.org. So if you haven't logged in yet, this is the first screen that'll come up. You'll see that there's 3 current public groups that you can join. So there is the APRO General Discussions, which is where most of your regular everyday discussions will happen. There's the LEAP and APRO webinars section as well, and that one's for continuing the conversation around our webinars. And then there's a vendors only lounge, which is there for the purpose of our vendors to be able to communicate with each other in their own setting. So to start off, we're going to go and say that you're going to select the group that you'd like to sign up for. I'm going to say APRO General Discussions. And just a side note, there's a login button up here. So if you've already created your account, that's where you would go. But we're going to create an account so you see it from the beginning. So right here, we're going to enter in our information. So get this in here. And we're just going to click join. This is going to send a confirmation email so that you can go and click and verify your email. So that might take just a couple seconds to come in. So we'll wait for that. There we go. So you'll see here that it's going to come from no reply at mob.community.rtohq.org. So it's a long email address, but you'll just be looking for this no reply. Please verify your email address. And then it does say welcome APRO demo. That's the name that I chose. So once you're in here, you're going to click on verify email. You can also copy and paste this if you need to. We're going to go ahead and click there. Confirm your email address. All right, so here's where I can go ahead and create my password and continue. All right, so the first thing that's going to come up once you get here is the opportunity to complete your profile. So we do highly recommend that everybody adds a profile picture. It's going to make it a lot easier when you're communicating with each other. Just like on social media, you have the option to see who's in there. And again, where it's that communication opportunity, you want to see who you're talking to. So we're going to go ahead and upload. For the sample one, I am just going to use the APRO logo. But typically, we would want to see your beautiful faces. We'll click on that. And then we will continue. So because I had selected the APRO General Discussions as the group that I was joining, it's going to start me off right in there. So you can see a little description of the group. You can see your navigation. And then if you scroll down, you can see the posts that are already in there. I do want to point out real quick that our sponsor for the APRO community is Benefit Marketing Solutions. So you'll see them throughout the site. So make sure to give them a thank you as you're in there. but this is kind of like your home base for that particular group. There are additional groups that you can join. You saw those on the main screen. There's a couple ways to get there. So if you go to the home screen, this is your general dashboard. It will show you any recent posts from any of the groups that you're in. And it will also show you additional suggested discussion groups. So here's those other two groups that we talked about. If I click on this one here, it will go ahead and just join me automatically because it's an open group. The vendors only lounge would be a approval process because that one is only for vendors. So I'm going to go ahead and join that one. So you can see that I have both of those groups here. Your other way, other than going to home, you can also go here to browse groups, and that would show you a list of any other available ones. I do want to make a note that we did just create a group for RTO World 2026, and we will create groups for future events as well. The purpose of that is leading up to and after the event is a good place for communications, asking questions of us as staff or of each other. It's a good place to just kind of have all that in one spot. For RTO World 2026, we are planning on doing a wider share of all of the photos through our community. So that's a little bonus perk for joining that group. The invitations for that group will be sent out after you register for RTO World. And that first batch of invitations should be going out most likely tomorrow, if not early next week. So be on the lookout for that. So the next thing we're going to go to is updating your profile. Up here at the top, you'll have your avatar. If you click on that, you have view your profile here. If you ever wanted to change your image, you can do so right here. It shows you your information that you've entered. You can edit it by clicking this icon, and you can update that at any time. And then badges is something that we haven't implemented yet, but it's something that we might do in the future. So if we ever do that, they would show up here. And then activities is just going to show you anything that you've done in the community. So I'll close back out of that. And then the next thing is your notification settings. I think this is one of the most important things to set up because you want to make sure that you are getting all of the communications you would like, but you also don't get ones that you don't want. So you'll click that same avatar icon and then go to preferences. And then there's a ton of options here, and you have full control over what you want notifications for. So this top section here, you could select if you wanted to get a weekly email that's going to give you highlights. So a community highlights email is going to say, here's the most recent conversations. It's not going to necessarily show everything. If we had 20 posts that week, they're not going to show you all 20, but they'll show you the few most recents. So this would be a weekly version. By default, you'll have the daily version. So it would only send you an email if there was any activity that day in any of the groups that you belong to. So it's not going to send one each and every day, no matter what. It's only if there's anything that happened in the groups that you belong to. So again, this one is a community highlight. So any of the groups that you belong to within the community, all in one email. There is a secondary option down here that if you wanted to get group highlight emails. So if you were in a particular group, say you wanted to get everything that happened from APRO general discussions in one separate email, you have that option as well. So you can come in here and select the ones that you want those individual emails for. By default, that's turned off, but you do have the ability to adjust that. There's also an immediate email option. So this is if you wanted to be immediately notified of posts in any group I'm in or in select groups. Manager announcements is announcements from the staff that we're sending out. If you want to get immediately notified of those, that is something that we will use in a limited function. We won't be sending out a bunch of announcements. Comments on all posts or comments on posts I created, comments on posts I participate in. So if you've commented on something, do you want to get immediate notifications of replies in there? Private replies on your posts, which we'll go over a little bit more later what that means. Conversations I'm in are private one-to-one conversations, at mentions of me. Events is something that we're not currently using in here. We may in the future, but as of right now, you don't need to worry about that. If you're assigned a badge, again, that's something that we're not using yet. And moderation, if for some reason you post something that was flagged or blocked, then you could be notified of that. So this is just a very good idea to go in and make sure that it's set up the way that you would like it from the get-go, and then you can always go back in and make any changes that you'd like. I do want to mention there's a couple other groups that you'll see in the future. So The plan is to create affinity groups so that we would have groups for based on your job role. So if you wanted to talk with other store managers or other marketing professionals or other HR professionals, that we would have affinity groups for those. That is something that would be coming down the line. So just be on the lookout for that. And then I already mentioned like the RTO World 2026 group. We did have a pilot group for the LegCon 2026 that went really well. So that was a really, really good spot. We do have one other type of group that is for our volunteers. So whether that's people that serve on our board of directors, our vendor advisory committee, or any of our other committees, there are individual groups for those members to be able to engage with each other as well. So if you ever join one of those groups, then you would have an additional group that you're invited to there. So no matter what groups you decide to join, they will all show up here for you, so that there's always easy access for that. The next thing we're going to go over is how to find discussions. So if I was going into the APRO general discussions here, obviously you can just scroll through it just like you would on any social media platform. You can give a little applause here on something, which just is basically your like button. You can click on one to comment easily from any of the posts. So that's another fun little spot. You can do a private reply if for some reason there was a response that you wanted to do that wasn't something you wanted out for everybody. Excuse me, you can also send that. If you wanted to search for a specific topic, as this community develops and grows and builds out more, it'll be really helpful to be able to come in here and say, has anybody ever posted about this specific topic? So you would be able to come in here and search for that. So just for a sample to show you what it looks like, I'm going to do something very basic. I'm just going to type in employee. And you can see that there was one on management development and there was one on how often are you reviewing your agreements. So anything that had something to do that could be related will show up there. There's also a little notification bell up here. So it'll show you a list of anything that's happened that you haven't seen yet. Let's see. I do want to go. When I typed in employee, if you click on view all results, it does give you the option to filter your results. So by default, you saw all results. You can also view just the posts that were within, which in this case is everything, but you can also search for members and you can search for groups. So as the groups develop more and more, instead of looking through a long list, you can search for that. And then for members, you can search easily if you wanted to say, let me see everybody that works at Magic Rent to Own. So you type in Magic and you can see all the people who have joined so far from Magic. So that's an easy way to find somebody. So we're going to pick on Mr. Dan Fisher. You can see him here. You can see his profile. You will notice this little badge on him. That's not the badge, but it's an icon. So this particular one shows that he's an APRO board member. We also have one for the vendor advisory committee and an APRO staff so that you can easily tell, who's who when you're in here. All right. So the next thing we're going to go to is creating a post. So while you're in one of the groups, you choose whichever spot you're looking to post to. You have two options. You can do a discussion post or a poll. So the discussion post is going to be what you're using 99% of the time. This part here is your title. That's what's going to show up in bold like this. And then the what would you like to say would be the content underneath. So I do recommend putting a title because when people are scrolling through, if they just see the big paragraphs, they can't always tell what the topic is. So the title makes it a lot easier for people to know what the topic of the conversation is. So we are going to do a sample post just so that you can see the entire process. So I went ahead and retyped one out to make this go a little bit faster. All right, so we've got our post ready to go. We have formatting options down here. If you wanted to have fun and explore, you can do all your standard formatting. You can add in a link if you'd like. You can add in emojis. You can add photos, videos, and upload a file. So this is a good opportunity if you had, say, a resource document that you were wanting to get people's opinions on. You can upload that and people can review it. And whether you're sharing something and saying, hey, this worked really well for me and I think you should look at it too. Or if you're saying, I don't know how this works, here's a screenshot, can you help me out? So it's a good opportunity to have those conversations with one another. So once we have it ready to go, we just hit post. I do want to show you one thing before I post it, which isn't going to be in the post, but you do have the opportunity as well to add in a YouTube link. And well, it's not going to do it for me now, of course. There we go. When you paste in a YouTube link, it will automatically embed the video. So it makes it really nice and easy for people to share video content. But this particular post, we're not doing that. I will go ahead and post that. And you will see that here it is showing up in your feed. So anybody who's in this APRO General Discussions group, depending on their notification settings, if they have instant notifications, would get something now, or they will most likely get it in their email tomorrow morning, based on those default settings. So a poll post works just slightly different. You have your same settings up here in the beginning, but then you can actually type in whatever kind of questions you want in your poll. You can choose whether or not to allow multiple selections. And then the cool thing is, I have an example at the bottom here. Mr. Michael Strong had posted one, and you can see that it does show live results. So you can see how many voted for each one, what the distribution is, and then you can also see people's faces here of who voted for what. So it is just a fun way to get some information from your fellow members. We did already go over replying and engaging. Again, that was clicking on this button, and then you can go through, you can see Trent here shared a bunch of PDFs and Excel documents, which is super helpful. And then the private replies, like I said, goes straight directly to the author of the post and the author of the post only. Let's see. The next thing would be finding group members. So if we scroll back up to the top, again, you have different groups, so you have different members of each group, but whichever one you're trying to look for, you just click on this members tab here, and it's going to show you a list of everybody that's in there so far. So right now, our general discussions has 155 members. You can see who's added pictures, who hasn't. Here's those icons I was talking about. So here's the Vendor Advisory Committee member, Mr. Adam. You can see here the APRO staff icon, and then down here is the board member one. So when you're scrolling through here, it makes it easy to find people in each of those roles. You can click on anybody's profile. It will give you their information. There's one more icon here that's community manager that just lets you know that I'm a person that is in here managing the community. If you ever needed help with an issue, I'm one of the people that you can reach out to. There is a find members option here as well that you can filter, which is kind of cool. So in addition to searching up here, like I searched for magic, you can also search here for company name. You can search by job title. So say you were trying to find anybody in marketing or anybody that's a delivery specialist or delivery driver, you can use whatever search term you'd like to find people in that role. So it's a good way to network and build some more of those connections. Community role, here's another one. So you say, I wanted to see all of our APRO board members. It would show you all of the APRO board members that are in that group. So that's just another helpful way to be able to get through all of those things. Let's see. Events, like I told you, is something that we're not currently using in here. There's some issues with that particular platform, so we're not using that until those are corrected. And then resources is your last tab here. That's gonna currently only has your community rules and etiquette. So that's a good document to review just to see what the community guidelines are. Some quick links to our other resources, but eventually we will be adding more resources in here for you as well. Starting conversations is the next one. These are going to be your private one-to-one conversations. So you can see here there's a drop down. It's something that you can, as you get a bunch of people under there, you can hide it or show it. But to start a new conversation, you can either go here to the new conversation button. This is your first option. This is the easiest way if you're wanting to send either one-to-one or group messages. So I'm going to use Magic as an example again. So I'll type them in and say I wanted to send a message to Mr. Dan and Matt Shields. So you can see here who you've selected, and then when you select, it will start a message with those people. So this is a good way to have that little group conversation. You can always see here, it's got the count of who's in there, the list of who's in there, but you have all your same abilities here. You can type your message, update your formatting, links, attachments, all of that good stuff. Another way you can do that is when we were on that member screen and I see, okay, Adam Sutton is here and I want to message him. So when I'm on his profile, I can just click the message button. So it's easy no matter which way you would like to do that. That is the basics of the community within the website version. You can see I do have a notification here. So there we go. Benji appreciated our post. So that is the basics of that. So now I will go back to our slide deck here. This is just a little bit of a preview of what the mobile app looks like. This is your icon that you will look for in either your Apple or Android store. The reason that you would want to download the app, me personally, I like the instant notifications. I like it when somebody shares something, I want to get back to them right away. I want to have that conversation. So for me personally, I like it because I can get push notifications. There are settings within the app that, again, you can choose within the app what you want to be notified for in real time and what you'd rather not. So you do have those options. You can respond to things quickly. It's just a great way to connect with members on the go. So there is a QR code here on your screen to download that will work on either Apple or Android. But if you do want to search for those, these are the titles. They are currently two different ones. Android was already updated to Forge Connect, which is the platform that we're using. It was originally branded as Mobilize Community and Management, and so that's what Apple's is still on until they approve the updated Forge Connect. So this is just a little bit of a walkthrough of it. I'm not going to go through all the details, but you do have your standard menus and quick links down at the bottom. So it is a good thing to explore if you have the moment. So to recap, why the community matters. It's a great way to solve operational challenges. It's a way to share best practices, to learn from real world experiences, build professional relationships, and stay engaged with the industry. So every member has their own expertise. Everybody knows something that somebody else doesn't know. It's always a good way to be able to share, and it's going to work best is if you're both asking questions and sharing what you've learned. So it's that two-way communication. So my goal for all of you guys, your action item for the week is going to be to log in and complete your profile. Make sure you update those notification settings and post an introduction. Post something in there that whether it's just a, hey, my name is, and here's what I do, or if you do have a question that you want to go ahead and share or a resource you'd like to share, I'd really encourage you to do that within this next week. Get the ball rolling. We do have two upcoming webinars for July. We have a July 14th, we have our next LEAP session, which is building the bench, developing leaders at every level. And then we also have on July 23rd, a delivery and installation safety webinar. And there we go. Before you go, we do have a survey available that if you can take just a few minutes and help us out, let us know if the Lunch and Learn format was something that's going to be helpful going forward. It is something that we're trying out with just a quick, digestible, easy session for you to be able to get some quick learning. Let us know what topics you're interested in, and we'll love to get some more scheduled for you. Thank you for your time.